Now available for the first time in paperback. Stop Simping in the Workplace. Men, learn what you need to know in order to protect your job from workplace predators with Stop Simping in the Workplace. Available in paperback at online booksellers everywhere. One of my viewers wanted me to talk about male nurses dating female nurses on the job. Now, this viewer is a male nurse, and as a male nurse, he basically sees a lot of very attractive women on the job. And because he sees a lot of very attractive women on the job, he basically is tempted to go and try to approach one of those attractive female nurses and try to ask her out. Now, this viewer basically is under a lot of peer pressure because he sees a lot of his male coworkers going out here and stepping to those very attractive nurses on the job. And his gut is telling him not to go and do this, and he wanted to get my advice. And my advice is basically for this viewer to follow his instincts and follow his gut, because they're telling him to do the right thing as related to the job. Because like I talk about in my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, which I urge this viewer to go out here and pick up, you need to understand one written rule as related to the workplace, and that written rule as related to the workplace is don't crap where you eat. This is something that many fathers and grandfathers tell their sons before they enter the workplace, because the whole reason why they tell them this is to tell them not to get involved with women on the job. Because if you get involved with women on the job, you can basically make a mess of your life that makes it where you mix a lot of crap into your life that prevents you from being able to eat. And the whole reason why many older men tell men not to crap where they eat as related to their job is because your job is the place where you make your money and make your living, and you don't want to get involved with women because women love to start a lot of crap, and once they start a lot of crap, it can basically keep you from being able to eat and keep you from being able to make a living, because one of the things you have to understand about being in the workplace and dating women where you work is you're going to see this woman basically every day, and this woman basically is going to be in your face every day, and even worse, this woman basically going to bring your personal business to the job. So you definitely want to keep a separate boundary as related to your job between you and the women at the job. And the reason why you want to keep that boundary in place is because you want to protect your ability to make a living in this country and the entire world. You want to be able to keep your ability to make a living, and the best way to do that is to set a hard boundary that makes all the women at the job off limits. And you really want to make all the women at your job off limits because you really want to protect how you make your living these days, because we are no longer in an era where men can go out here and look to pursue relationships with women at the job anymore. No, we are now in an era of Me Too, which was created by radical white feminists and bootlicks like Tarana Burke. And in this era, we have legal precedent that basically makes it where a man can basically wind up losing everything based on a simple allegation of inappropriate behavior, and based on the simple word of a woman, a man can wind up losing not only his job, but can also lose his professional reputation, which will make him virtually unemployable, and he can also lose his freedom if that woman decides to go out here and file criminal charges against that man. So when it comes to the job, what you want to do is not get involved with any of the women at the job and not be anywhere alone with any of those women at the job, because if you are alone with those women at the job, you basically could jam yourself up by creating a he said, she said situation, a he said, she said situation, which that woman could basically turn into a claim of sexual harassment or any other sort of claim, and use that claim to basically, one, get you terminated from your job, and two, use that claim to possibly look to do what she really wants to do, file a big lawsuit against that medical center or that hospital in order to get herself a nice cash settlement that she can basically go out here and retire on. And she can only do that if you decide to make the mistake of going out here and thinking, hey, this woman is so fine, this woman is so attractive, I'm going to go out here and shoot my shot. But if you shoot that shot, you could wind up shooting yourself in the foot as related to your professional career, your professional reputation, where once you get one of these whole sexual harassment claims filed on you, it basically follows you from company to company and basically makes it where when they do a background check, you're not able to get employment because this is on your file. I mean, this could basically derail your professional career, and you don't want to do that because I've heard from a family member how much work goes into becoming a nurse, whether it be you have a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree or a master's degree. I know how much work goes into getting one of those degrees, and you don't want to wind up losing all of that hard work as related to that lucrative career all over looking at some woman who basically is there just to get this job. I mean, you don't basically want to lose everything over a woman who basically you're looking and checking out, hoping to possibly get her to drop the skid mark jockey thong and be able to get a taste of the atomic waste from a special place. I mean, you don't want to wind up being disgraced for a taste of the waste. I mean, you don't want that to happen because, again, I've heard that these nurses make 6 figures and up as related to their jobs, especially if they have a bachelor's or a master's degree. And you don't want to wind up losing your professional reputation and your ability to make a living because right now, this brother basically is a high value man. And again, the kind of man who basically women go for and go for outside of the job. So why would a dude want to go out here and risk his 6-figure job and basically blow that job all because he sees some females at the job? Critical question I got to ask the viewer, and critical question I'm asking all of his co-workers: why would you want to blow your ability to make a good living, live in a nice spot, and drive a nice car? Why would you want to blow all of that, just to go out here and shoot your shot at women at the job when there's actually a lot more women outside of the job? Now, what the viewer and his friends don't understand is how it works as related to the world of the social marketplace. Now, when it comes to the social marketplace, I knew way back when I was a teenager that there were 4 women for every 1 man. And I also understood that there are women practically everywhere. This is something I've known ever since I was a teenager, and that there are opportunities to meet great women basically everywhere. So you never need to go out here and check out any of the women at the job. No, you never need to check out any of the women at the job. You can make all of those women off limits because basically attention from women is not something that's scarce. No, attention from women is not something that's scarce. I go in depth on this in my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance. You do not need to go out here and try to check for the women at the job because, again, when it comes to men, and I'll repeat it once more. Now, I know some viewers don't like it when I repeat things, but I want this to be reinforced in the viewer's mind. There are lots more women than men in this world. And when it comes to women, there are women all over the place. And you don't need to go out here and engage women at the job because women are not that scarce. No, there's an abundant population of young, especially young, attractive women out here. And all a dude got to do is basically, once he leaves the job, he will, and he has his eyes open, he can basically start seeing those women basically checking for him. Because when it comes to a man who is working, when a man is working, basically, I will tell you as a fact, because when I had jobs, basically, there were women checking for me because they were watching my routine. They were watching me come out of my house nicely dressed in my nice professional looking dress shirts and ties, and sometimes twills and slacks, and they would see me coming out well dressed. And I wouldn't, and when I was younger, I didn't notice those women, but those women were noticing me, and they noticed the pattern of your behavior. They notice if you're coming out basically every day, and if you come out long enough, what's going to happen is, along the way, some of those women are going to try to let themselves be known. They're going to possibly try to let you know that they're interested. You just got to study the nonverbal cues, and some of them maybe even be as bold to even shoot their shot. That's how many women are out there, and they're basically everywhere. I mean, you can find women basically at places like a bookstore or a supermarket or places like going to the movies. I mean, if you just chill out and relax, you'll be able to find plenty of women. Moreover, you've got lots of friends who know lots of women, and they can introduce you to women, and it's better for the friends and family to introduce you to women, because those women will be vetted, and you can basically, again, find women basically everywhere if you're a man who's got his stuff together. If you're a man who's got his stuff together, basically there are women everywhere, so you don't have to limit yourself to the women at the job, and you don't really want to limit yourself to the women at the job because, one, many of the women at the job are feminists and basically buy into the rhetoric of feminism, and two, many of these women, because they buy into the rhetoric of feminism, buy into the rhetoric of Me Too, and because they're caught up in the rhetoric of Me Too, they're possibly, again, looking for that payday at your expense. And that's what this guy's co-workers don't understand. This guy's co-workers, they're basically playing a game of Russian roulette with their careers, playing a game of Russian roulette with their careers, where they may possibly wind up being unemployable, because one of the worst things you can do in this workplace with this modern woman is go out here and go call yourself shooting your shot, because she will then shoot over to the human resource department and make a claim of sexual harassment. And if you do get her in private, she may even change the story to a crime such as assault. And this could basically wind up making it where you can wind up at the minimum being suspended from your job, and at the maximum wind up getting arrested, and wind up going from making good money and having your own spot to having to deal with Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles over a crime that possibly did not happen. And you don't want to go out here and do that to yourself. No, the most important intangible you want to preserve is your freedom. Out of all the intangibles of manhood, such as your dignity, your self-respect, and your self-worth, you want to preserve your freedom, because having the freedom to be able to go wherever you want is the most important thing. And that's why you don't want to limit yourself by trying to step the women at the job. Now, a lot of guys, they think, oh, I'll step to the women at the job because they are easy and conveniently available. But what you're doing is basically limiting yourself to a pool of women that is guaranteed to basically mess up your career. So this is the advice that I'm giving this viewer as related to his job. Now, he possibly feels a lot of peer pressure because his friends are stepping to those women, but I guarantee you, step away from those women, take those women and make them off limits. Make those women off limits, because in about 3-6 months to a year, these guys are all going to get jammed up, and you don't want to get jammed up like they will, because these guys basically are sitting here thinking, oh, I'll get with these women, it'll be okay. No, it's not going to be okay because, one, again, this woman is basically in your face every day when you get in a relationship with her. Because if you start going to go see her outside of the job, this woman basically is going to be in your face every day. And you're going to get tired of seeing this person because people in relationships, we really need space as related to things. I mean, men and women, you need space as related to each other. You need to be away from each other so that you can appreciate each other. And you also need time to breathe. But if you are at work and she's working with you, it basically makes it where she's in your face every day. And that can be very annoying. And even more annoying, what can happen is if you start living with this woman or you marry this woman, and basically living with women, I don't recommend because it's basically like putting the atomic waste on layaway or putting pussy on layaway. You don't want to do that. And again, you don't want to do that because if you go out here and have this woman in your house, she knows all about your personal life and your personal business. And when women get on the job, they love to gossip. And that basically means your business is out in the street. So you really want to keep your personal and professional life separate. And you want to have a woman that's away from the job. You want to have a woman that's away from the job. And you want that because you want your personal space so that you can breathe. You can have your personal space to relax because, yeah, it's nice to be attracted to women, but you want some time to yourself and you want some space for yourself. That's what you really want when you're out here all the time. And a lot of guys, they don't appreciate or understand the importance of being by yourself and having that time. And getting with women at the job makes it where you don't have any personal space and it becomes a stressful thing. And you really should appreciate having your personal space. And again, you don't want your worlds colliding. You don't want your personal and your professional life colliding. You want them to be completely separate. And again, you want it separate because you don't want any crap in your life, because a lot of these women, especially these modern women, will crap test you and again make a lot of crap at the job. And again, a lot of crap that could possibly lead to you not being able to eat, and be able to take care of yourself. So as a man, you have, like I read in the Dr. Robert Glover's No More Mr. Nice Guy book, which I used as part of my research for the Simp series books, he always says to put yourself first. And part of putting yourself first is being able to take care of yourself. And part of taking care of yourself is making sure that you take care of business as related to your job. Take care of business as related to your job, because the last thing you want to do is go out here and pursue a relationship with a woman, because that personal relationship can mess up your business. And again, when you're a nurse who's making good money, if you're one of these nurses especially if you've got a BA or an M Masters, you don't want to mess up that money, because you are on a road to becoming a very, very rich man as related to having a lucrative job, and you don't want to mess up your living. No, you don't want to mess up your money. So I'm urging this viewer, please don't do it. Don't do it at all. Don't go out here and look to check out any of those women at the job. No, don't check out any of those women at the job. No, I can tell you from personal experience, when I was working at AmeriCorps, and even when in 2000, and even when I was working at the City College of New York in 2008, and these weren't even high salary jobs. One of them was a volunteer position where I was basically making minimum wage, and the other one I was basically not making that much money. But the whole thing was, even then women were checking for me. Even then women could see me, and they see you and they see your routines. And if you give these women enough time, they will come. Some of them will be giving you the nonverbal cues, and others will be basically checking for you. And when women see a man with a routine where he's basically going to work every day and coming back, I guarantee you, basically, one of those women is going to step to you, because they know that the competition is stiff. They know that there's 4 women for every one man. And basically, these women come up with a plan to basically snatch a guy off the as is related to routine, off the market. They will make a plan to snatch a guy off the marketplace before he goes on the marketplace. And women basically know when there's an available guy. Now, some of their little bitter friends may come out here and say, don't talk to that one, or don't step to that one. But they will basically see and instinctively know, hey, I see this guy, he's got a routine. I see this guy, he's coming out here, he's dressing nice. I see this guy driving real nice. I'm going to go step to that dude. I'm going to go out here and find a way to be where he is. If he's got a routine, if he's going to the train station, if he's going to the bus, if he's going to a certain coffee shop, she's going to make sure that she's there. And she's going to let you know that she's available. Basically, this is what women do. And again, you don't have to mess with women at the job, because there's plenty of women basically everywhere for a guy to be involved with, and better quality women to be involved with than the women at your job. Now, this was a video requested by a viewer, and I'm recommending that this viewer go out here and pick up my 2 books, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, to understand why he needs to be careful as related to identifying predatory women. And he definitely needs to pick up Stop Simping in the Workplace, because that book will teach you how to set a course to identify predators on the job and identify dysfunctional behavior on the job. I have a whole chapter on sexual harassment and what sexual harassment is, and why men need to avoid getting themselves into situations like he said, she said. Again, I detail a lot of things as related to how to navigate the workplace so that you don't wind up jamming yourself up and losing your career because you get caught up in your feelings of lust or your feelings of peer pressure. I have a lot of information in Stop Simping in the Workplace, because I want to see men be able to achieve on the job. And since I want to see men be able to achieve on the job, I wrote this book because I saw the era of Me Too coming up. I saw so many men getting jammed up at the job, and I don't want to see any man lose his job because he doesn't understand how things work as related to the modern workplace and the modern woman. And I'm urging this viewer to pick up those 2 books, and pick up those 2 books to basically set a course for his career so that he can wind up making the most out of his career and actualizing his potential. And if you want to request a video like this viewer did, you can send a donation for a minimum of $15 to the PayPal or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if I know something about that workplace subject, I will make that video for you. That's all I have to say for this requested video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Godbreaker. The man who rules the world takes on the Asgardian god of thunder in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Godbreaker in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Illuminati. The man who rules the world takes on the head of the global elite in this all-new action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Illuminati in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.